And we are back talking about the tropics as the scene is now moving away from tropical storm Zeta. As most of you know, last night it made landfall in Louisiana as it moved over Mexico, made that Louisiana landfall, and moved now in Virginia. Now, believe it or not, we actually are continuing to see tropical storm winds, and we saw tropical storm winds all the way into Georgia, New Jersey, North Carolina, and all the way into Virginia. We're seeing tropical storm winds. We saw tropical storm winds in this entire area, so it is fairly crazy to see. Thankfully, it was a fairly fast mover, so those winds did not stay there for too long. So the damage wasn't too bad. But the sun's not moving away. This system will be dissipating over the open Atlantic, and it has turned post-tropical, meaning that this is the last advisory, as you can see. But now what's happening is that we're moving the scene away now onto this new tropical wave right here, located right over the lower Antilles, and it is actually now expected to potentially form here in this general area. It has a 60% chance to do so as it generally moves that way. And this should not be a problem for the Gulf Coast, thankfully, not another potential threat to Louisiana. This system here is expected to pretty much continue going westward into Central America, a little bit like Nana did. Nana went like this. This one's expected to go like this. So similar situation in, Guatemala, this area, maybe Panama should keep a close attention. But basically, this entire border here should pay close attention as this could move generally like this in this general area. If you look at the 5-day forecast here, as you can see, the code, it is again showing that same thing, potentially 60% chance for it to form actually already. So it went from a 20 to 30 to 60 fairly fast, and now 60% chance to form in that area here. No formation expected earlier than that. Conditions are not going to be too favorable. But once it gets here, it could form, anywhere in this general area. It looks like to be up to Hurricane Cat 1 maybe, but, strong tropical storm hurricane. Not a major hurricane's expected with that one, thankfully, as we get to the end of the November. So we're going to have to see, but actually we have quite a lot of things we're starting to track here. We have 3 tropical waves we're tracking with this one. The first one right here, now going into Central America. We have the second one here, and we have a third one here. So we have 3 tropical waves. You can see this one here, that one here, and then this one down there. All of those fairly organized. This one will form, obviously, and then this tropical wave is getting more and more organized and is very likely to form now here. And then we'll see if this other area of disturbed weather leads to anything. So first off, here are the remnants now of tropical or post-tropical storm Zeta. As you can see, not a lot left to it. Very disorganized. But again, we did saw this tropical storm winds here. It is now moving, and the last advisory was right here. It has now moved all the way over here, so it is a very, very fast mover. It's moving close to 50 miles per hour. And again, it's very disorganized, as you can see now. Very stretched out, and it's no longer getting its energy from the warm waters, so that's why it's currently post-tropical. But all those winds and rain is moving away from the area now, back over the open water. So it took one night to go across the entirety of the took one day to go across the entirety of the United States. So it is pretty crazy to see. As we look at the wide picture here in the Atlantic, you can see quite a lot of things. Here's again remnants of Zeta here, kind of getting absorbed here by this ginormous thing. So lots of going on in the northern Atlantic, bringing pretty fairly bad conditions, maybe some snow here to Canada. Now, as you can see here, we do have this bringing potentially some rain, etc., Central America. And then we have this tropical wave here getting better and better organized with right around here. It's really getting better organized by the minute. Very high cloud tops now near 80, negative 80. So really a better organized. And this tropical wave is also getting fairly organized. So we'll see if that gets marked potentially for a similar passage. It is a little bit south, so we'll see if it ever is able to become something. But those 2 tropical waves are definitely showing signs of organization. So, all right, so let's look here at the chances of formation for the system before we go and look at the models. So this is the global tropics hazard. So week 1, valid October 8 to November 3, we have a moderate chance of tropical development. So meaning there's a fairly good chance that this develop, but it's moderate. We also have that in the eastern Pacific, but we will be getting above average rainfall in this entire area. So you know, we do have that moderate chance. And as we get into week 2, November 4th to November 10th, that moderate chance does increase more to the Western Caribbean, where now it's located more in the Eastern Caribbean. So basically, for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be having a moderate chance of something forming in the Caribbean, which is what National Hurricane Center has gone with. So this is what we're currently looking at here. A couple tropical waves again. This is our uh, this is this is in 24 hours. It looks like. So yeah, 24 hours of forecast. So this is a tropical wave currently located right here. So this tropical wave here is currently located right here. It will be moving on the coast here, and then we also have, I believe, the one that has a chance to form will be moving into the Caribbean. And then from what this looks like, the tropical waves all the way down here will be moving near the lower Antilles. And then we will be having a high pressure here as well as a cold front right here. So what's going to happen is that the cold front is going to be pushing those tropical waves, meaning they're not going to be able to get pushed up into the Gulf of Mexico because of that cold front. Now the high pressure will be pushing it this way. We have a fairly big high pressure coming all the way to the cold front. So basically, it has really nowhere else to go because the high pressure will be pushing it. So it's going to be going in this general area here. Because, okay, so this is like the high pressure, right? So it's getting pushed in this general area, continuing that way. Then you've got the cold front coming in, and that cold front pushes it back south, and that's why it makes that potential South America at landfall. So it's currently really not expected to break farther than, maybe around here, because really the farthest it could go is maybe down there, but this is really, it has a fairly blocked area. This is like its block square. So now this is going to be in 72 hours, and as you can see, we now have a low pressure center has formed, and then we do have a tropical wave behind that. Alrighty, so looking at the forecast model, first of all, we'll be looking at windy really quickly on what it's expecting with the system. So already you can see where it's currently located right around here. This is where it is currently located. That tropical wave is located. We're going to be using windy today because it does show you fairly well how the rotation is going. So by tomorrow, again, still a tropical wave. As you can see, no close center. You can still see that wave axis. So the winds will be significantly increasing, but really no close circulation. Again, by Saturday, a little bit of a better organized, a very small close center, potentially in the center, maybe a tropical depression by that point, according to this model. But again, it's not too organized quite yet. And boom, by late Saturday, it gets a close center, becomes a low pressure, so potentially getting those characteristics for a tropical depression. And then now we have a fairly organized low center, lots of, very organized low center. Here's that cold front right here pushing in, high pressure pushing it out here. So again, it continues on its course, and obviously here, that cold front really comes in, and you can see it. You can see it on that latest. You can see it tries to move that way, and then right when that cold front comes, it curves to the south. So that's what I was talking about. As you can see, that cold front comes in, curves to the south, and makes landfall in Nicaragua, it looks like. So it makes that landfall there, and then obviously the cold front continues to push in now. Cold front stationary right here, and then that movement is made. On the GFS, on the other hand, we have a worse situation. So by Sunday, the system's already a lot better defined, a lot quicker. This is on the GFS, we have a bigger area, so we have a much bigger potential of widespread damages, and the system's already better defined in the Eastern Caribbean. And on this model here, it really does, we have a weaker cold front, not as defined, which causes really this. You can see it looks like it will be a very big system that was to become through. And then it kind of suddenly blows up here right before making landfall. As you can see, this is on the surface level. We have probably a 60, maybe we have a hurricane on the surface. And the problem here is that the cold front continues to push in, and what we see happening is actually going like this. So still not making that landfall. and staying off the coast, which would allow it to strengthen some more. And then finally, on Wednesday, it moves on into the coast here, but reemerges. So we have this low pressure reemerging. So what's happening here? It moves on and reemerges because as this cold front this cold front kind of dies out. The high pressure picks it back up here, and that causes it to reemerge. But I mean, at this point, a very weakened system, and as you can see, we would likely not see much strength from it, but a couple areas. So overall, what can we expect? We can expect something to form in this area here. One in the Eastern Pacific, one in the Western Caribbean. The Eastern Pacific one also has a 60% chance in the Western Caribbean. So we're really going to be seeing something developing in this area from, both that tropical wave here and a tropical wave here. So overall, we're going to be having a very active area right here for the next 2 weeks or so, where this is just going to be staying fairly active. Stay tuned and subscribe for more updates on potential tropical